My husband admitted he created an argument on purpose to justify his affair. I am filing for divorce so I can watch his world crumble. So my brother just got a job. He called me, asking if I could watch his 6-month-old baby during the week while he works, only for a few weeks, since he knows I am a stay-at-home mom myself. He is a single father. I would have said yes, but I can't. I am pregnant and have 2 young kids of my own. He understood, and asked if I knew anyone personally who could help because he was out of people to ask and wanted to try and avoid daycares as he didn't trust it. He said he would pay and cover everything, but he just urgently needed someone, and I said I'd ask around. My sister-in-law lives with us, and was just telling me how she needed a job and needed money, so I proposed the idea to her. She immediately agreed, and so I put her and my brother in a group chat to talk, as well as brought my brother over to the house to have a face-to-face talk about it. Now they're not strangers, of course they've met before and all, so it wasn't awkward. So they talked about the baby, what was needed, etc. My brother didn't have a long-term plan mapped out right then since everything was so abrupt, but my sister-in-law was understanding and said she'd be okay with whatever, and that was that. Everything seemed fine until the day of. My husband came into our room and blindsided me with all these complaints on her behalf. He said my sister-in-law had not eaten since the morning, that she wasn't comfortable and she was tired and that she didn't even need to be there because other people were home and could have watched the baby, and that they only gave her $100, etc. I was confused, because I spoke to my sister-in-law while she was there to check on her and she said everything was fine. So I told him she didn't say any of those things to me, and I asked her and she said she wasn't complaining to him. I said to him bluntly, so she is not complaining, you are complaining for her? And he said, yes. I told him I was confused, because he was throwing it all at me as if it's my responsibility, and that sister-in-law and my brother are 2 adults who made their own deal, that was up to her and she agreed to it, nobody was forcing her. If she was uncomfortable or anything, all she had to do was say it. He continued to repeat the complaints and said, do I have to get involved? I told him the deal doesn't involve him, or me for that matter, and I don't understand why he's the only one upset here when it has nothing to do with him. They are adults. He told me he can't even have a conversation with me and left the room. I'm genuinely confused. Update, 2 days later. So, since I spoke with sister-in-law and husband separately and got nowhere, I finally got the chance to sit them down together. I was calm and respectful the entire time. I flat out said okay, so in regards to the babysitting gig, what's going on? What issues are there and where are they coming from? Husband made a scoffing sound and looked annoyed but didn't speak up. So I turned to my sister-in-law and asked her bluntly, do you have any complaints, concerns or problems with the arrangement you and my brother made for the babysitting? She said absolutely not. I asked her, are you sure? Did you say anything to husband that says otherwise? It's completely fine if you did, but you have to speak up for yourself and talk about it, even to me if not my brother. She said I honestly have no issues and I didn't complain to anybody, I swear. Then we looked at husband. She told him that she was fine with the arrangements and had no complaints. Then she asked him why he had made a scene for no reason. He got defensive and said nobody said you were complaining. It just doesn't make sense to me. There's no point in you doing it, and it's not convenient. Are you even getting paid good? I sat there trying to understand why he was getting so defensive, and sister-in-law shot back at him telling him it wasn't his business and it didn't have to make sense to him, echoing exactly what the F I'd said in the first place, that it had nothing to do with him, and that she didn't appreciate him doing this without a good reason. He said he does have a reason, and when we asked what the reason was, he said because it doesn't make sense to me. I calmly asked him which part didn't make sense to him, and why he was so bothered by it when it does not affect our daily life in any way, that it didn't have to make sense to him cause it isn't his arrangement, and he got angry. He stood up from his seat, rambling something about how we were ganging up on him, and that we weren't going to make him the bad guy, and that nobody listens. Me and sister-in-law just looked at him while he rambled and she was just as lost as me. I, still very calm, asked him what he wanted out of this, and why he kept trying to involve himself, when sister-in-law clearly said she is happy with the agreement. He said nobody fagging uses their brain around here but me, I guess, and walked out. I don't know about y'all, but I'm no ass kisser and I definitely wasn't about to chase after him or baby him. He was being completely ridiculous in my opinion, so we let him go and that was it. About an hour later, he came back, and started saying things under his breath, like my own wife just let me walk out and she doesn't even care about me and it's just fag me, I guess I just don't matter, while sighing and dragging it out. I ignored all of it, because, grow up dude, and he came into the room and said, so you have nothing to say to me? And I was like, nope, we tried to address things and you decided to storm off, so that's that. I think you're being dramatic and that's a you problem. He then called me inconsiderate and selfish, and left. Vape.